Hey Gemini, it's Empress Rose here. Welcome to your reading. These are journal readings, so we take what works, we leave what doesn't, as with everything in life. And if I don't catch your wavelength or storyline here, check your other major placements, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and any placement that excites you right now or you just learned about, anything like that. As long as we take what works and leave what doesn't, no harm. As long as we're not shoehorning stories into our lives that aren't ours. All right, I'm starting with this monster deck. I don't know. I have recently just connected with these decks that I've had for a while now, and now they're starting to make sense to me. So, what do we have for Gemini for this week? I will take that. What do we have for Gemini? I think it works if I take these cards as a paragraph and not like individual cards. So they tell a story all together. I say that, there's only one card coming out here. Okay, Gemini. Anything else? Or am I really just not... Oh, almost. Anything else? Anything else? Okay. All right. That's valid. All right, Gemini. Ooh, la la. Am I... No, whatever. Okay, it's time to release negativity. Defenses down. Time to put those defenses down. Maybe you had them up for a good reason, maybe not. But it's whatever situation, it's complete, it's full. You no longer need to be defensive. You no longer need to be negative. I like this full moon in Scorpio. Put the stinger down. Yeah. Any negative thinking, any thinking like this isn't going to work out, I can't do this, any people are out to get me thinking, anything like that, you're putting that down. Am I in focus? I don't know. Okay, Starseed, what lights you up? Dreaming big. Oh, I like this with this negativity card, releasing negativity. Allowing some pretty big dreams to come in and not dismissing them immediately as that will never work, right? So what lights you up? What lights you up? And forget about the part where that'll never work, whatever. We're dreaming big. We are dreaming huge. Look at how big this dream is. It's big. It's very big. And then we have Sisterhood of the Rose, beauty, devotion, priestess, mystic, teacher. So you could be wanting to go in that direction, priestess, mystic, teacher. Or I feel like you're finding, this is a bit of finding your guides, finding your soul tribe. If you becoming a teacher or finding a mentor, one or the other or both, finding some sort of mentor here with your dreams. Finding a group of people. Not only that, there's really something, what I really like about the Sisterhood of the Rose is that I see you as halfway between, as both receiving teachings, receiving and passing it on, like a conduit sort of, like you have your mentors and you're also mentoring others at the same time, right? That concept of, when you learn something, you really learn it when you teach it. You can learn it, you can test on it, you can do all sorts of things, but you really learn it when you teach it. It's almost like it comes in a little deeper and you start to understand it a little more. So dreaming big and coming into some sort of role as both apprentice and teacher. And time to release, it's almost like you're student teaching, right? Like that. Like you're still learning, but you're applying what you learn as you go. And yeah, don't be like, you gotta believe that, what lights you up. It's really interesting, not really that interesting, but there's one way in which, I served on a board of trustees for a nonprofit, and one thing that I really wanted was for the people sort of doing the on the groundwork to be dreaming big and to stop with the we can't afford this, right? Because that just shuts it down right away. So I wanted them to dream big, and then we as a board, we make those budget decisions. But don't you, in your dreaming stages, in your what do you need stages, and what do you need to do, you know, to complete this mission as well as you can, let's take that, and then the board will make decisions, the difficult decisions about what we can and can't afford. But so in some ways, like, you could divide your life like that, like what are you dreaming? Dream big without the whole that'll never work out, I would need this and that to come into place. Just dream really big without trying to figure out the details first. We can figure out the details later, plan, but what's really important is to have a vision and to have a dream, and then but don't let the details of what you can afford, what we have the manpower to do, that kind of stuff, like, because there's workarounds or ways to do other things, or okay, so maybe you don't get the full thing, but you get closer. Whereas if you just started dreaming with all the limitations in place first, your dreams tend to be very small and dumb. I mean, just not that interesting or fascinating. So dreaming beyond your means, dreaming beyond what you can see right now. So dropping that negativity, in a way, I feel like that's dropping the limitations. Dreaming in limitless possibilities, I mean, what's a dream if you're just dreaming what is, you know, and what you've got? I tend to think it works a lot better if you dream big and then figure out how to accomplish that with what you have, rather than looking at what you have and saying you can't accomplish anything. So, all right, Gemini, now we're moving into a more traditional tarot spread here. Gemini, this is your past, your present, your inner landscape. What's at issue? Your environment, your to-do list, possible outcome. Kings. My goodness. Lots of being in charge. You're going to be one of those people. And of course, gender has no place in tarot for the most part. It's just roles. We're just talking about roles today. Speaker. Okay. In your recent past, oh, I love this. What lights you up? I think you know. I think you got a glimpse of it, because we had this Ace of Wands, inspired new beginning, starting to grow something, and it's just our intuition. Here we have the moonlight. The moonlight is the intuition of the sun, sort of, right? So the sun is going to come up, and the moon's reflecting that to us and giving us that information about the sun existing still, even when we can't see it, we know it, right? So that's what the moon does. That's why the moon represents intuition. You have a lot of moonlight here, but you had a new intuitive new beginning. You saw something you liked. You had this vision. You knew what lit you up. Oh my goodness, this is fascinating. We have the same card in the same place as the Taurus reading. Okay. So you knew what lit you up. You had some sort of inspiration, some sort of vision, some sort of idea that just started, that just planted. You saw something. You knew that would be exciting for you, and that was where you wanted to go. This could have been creativity, a creative project, or really anything that was inspiring. Something came in and inspired you. And then in your present situation, you're having a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear. This is Nine of Swords. This is turning the battle within, the battle in our minds. You're supposed to be safe. You are the priest. There's a lot of being in charge here. You are the priest of your sanctuary, right? You're in charge of the sanctuary. You're the priest. You're supposed to be safe. That's what sanctuary means, a safe space, right? But you're not. You've turned the battle within. The battle is in your head. There's some sort of thinking. It's your own thinking. You're way up in your head here. You're overthinking things. Oh yeah, especially if we started off with this Ace of Wands. This is supposed to be very intuitive, very visionary. But instead we've got a lot of details. We've got a lot of anxiety, a lot of fears. And there's something here about how you do have some information. You're not looking at it right now. It's like you just opted straight for the swords in the head. These are thoughts, self-imposed pain, thoughts. I think we're all sort of like mental masochists here, and we're both sides of it. We love to cause ourselves mental anguish and pain for some reason. I think we think it's productive or smart sometimes to be thinking things through all the way. That's very important. But it can often cause like a lot of pain and a lot of mental suffering and anguish. So there's a lot of mental suffering and anguish. You're physically safe. You're in a safe space. And you're in charge of this space. You're in charge of your head space. And somehow, as we all do from time to time, you've gotten way up in there and you've caused yourself some pain through engaging with, allowing, pursuing possibly painful thoughts, painful ways of seeing things. It's very interesting how we do this to ourselves. There is something here that could guide you, could help you. Oh, you could be like trying to do things by the book, or be very technical about something, which is something that's supposed to be an intuitive process, which is supposed to be a visioning. What lights you up here? Yeah, something that's supposed to be a visioning process, an intuitive process. You've made it an intellectual by the book process, trying to put a square peg into a round hole. What lights you up? What lights you up? Well, you knew, and it's definitely not where your mind is right now. Your mind is not being lit up. It's being pierced with difficult thoughts, negative thinking, a battle in your mind. And here, in your inner landscape, your hopes, your fears, this is Five of Cups. This is trying to figure out how you feel, being deep in your feelings here. And you might be intellectualizing. That's what these whole two cards are. This inspired new beginning, and over-intellectualizing it, trying to force it into some sort of formula, some sort of book, some sort of it should be this way. Something like that. A lot of negative thinking here. A lot of negative thinking. But here we have, this card is your mind trying to figure out your feelings. So we never want to be, we want to be ahead on figuring out the heart, figuring out the feelings, processing those as if there are any other sensory information coming at us. Feelings, sight, sounds, and we're processing it, understanding our world, understanding who we are and all of that from these feelings. We never want to force ourselves to feel a certain way, force ourselves to be a certain way, to feel a certain thing. That's the opposite. We don't go around, I don't go around with my little crystal here and like, this is going to be really soft and fuzzy. This is going to be soft and fuzzy, and tell my mind how this crystal feels in my hand. It's hard and sharp, right? And I'm not going to be like, this is like sandpaper. No, this is literally the softest thing in the world. So I take that information that I'm actually feeling, and then I process it, and I think to myself, I want more of this. Yes, I like this. So this is where some of your mental anguish could be coming from, is having that order reversed, trying to force yourself to feel things, force yourself to think things. This could also be a grief process that you're in. You're attempting to process some grief, some sort of emotions. You're very deep in your feelings here. And if you've got them misordered, it's going to be very confusing for you. If you've got them in the right order, then you're just processing some sort of grief, some sort of sadness, or maybe you're worried about feeling grief, you're worried about feeling sadness. Maybe this is your fear. It's like, I do not want to look in my feelings, my actual feelings. I'd like to over-intellectualize this, please. I don't really want to get into my feelings. So there's something that could feel a little treacherous for you about really deeply feeling. Here again, we have your intuition. I think your intuition is telling you it's time to explore some of these feelings. This thing is not no bueno. It's sitting right in between this intuition and these feelings, and it's causing grief and pain and suffering. And you may be worried about going into your feelings, but that's exactly where you need to be going, into this vision. Release the fear, release the negativity of like really getting into your feelings. And then we have the Hierophant here in reverse. This is a lack of faith. which is exactly what I'm seeing here with this Ace of Wands, this intuitive faith, new beginning. And you would grow that wand, you would grow that seed through faith, right? But instead of faith, we have a lot of overthinking things. We have a lot of logic is very important. I'm a big fan. I got a 4.0 in logic in college. So I'm a big fan of logic, but it's got its place and its time. And you may be over intellectualizing something. I feel so embarrassed that I just said that all of a sudden, like, okay. And so then here we have the Hierophant here in reverse. So the lack of communication, a lack of faith. What I love here too is this Hierophant's also in a sanctuary. This Hierophant supposed to be in a safe space, right? Both of these people, this is more, this priest here and this Hierophant. So two high spiritual beings. This one has forgotten that they're a high spiritual leader, their leadership and spirituality. Oh, remember we were talking about leadership, teacheriness. They've forgotten that they're a leader in spirituality and have imposed an intellectual order onto things. Then we're getting the Hierophant in reverse, also a leader in spirituality that seems to have forgotten his spiritual roots, forgotten his faith, forgotten his vision, forgotten who he is, right? And he's not communicating with his higher self, his ancestors. There's a lack of communication here with your higher self, with your intuition. I mean, there's so much about intuition here, and it's just being blocked by your intellect here. So we have this, the highest spiritual being possible, but he lacks faith. He lacks faith in his own abilities to communicate, to receive spiritual communication, all of that. We have I'm just kind of amazed that we have two spiritual leaders here. And then we have this lack of faith and this over-intellectualization. This one's in the upright, over-intellectualizing. This one in the reverse is not in touch with the spiritual leader. There could also be problems with literally a church here. With the Hierophant in reverse, problems with an actual religious organization going on. But I'm seeing more of a disconnect. You're not connected from the spirituality. You know what it is. You've felt it before. And there's some sort of disconnection, which is kind of interesting why you're watching this video. If you're feeling, well, maybe you're looking for more, I don't know. But you're feeling disconnected and you're not having faith. In your environment is probably a person. This is because it's a court card. I mean, there's probably lots of people in your environment. There are 7 billion people on the planet, so I'm pretty sure one of them probably qualifies as being in your environment. So this is a King of Cups. This man or woman, I just said emotion, gender doesn't matter, but yet I'm usually pretty careful about that. So this, so that's interesting. It could actually be a man here. This person is very emotionally mature. They can handle their emotional liquor. They can drink up of, we were all up here in our feels. You have someone in your environment, and this is also giving me the idea that you're some sort of conduit between learning and teaching, because this is someone you're learning from, because you're a little bit terrified of your own feelings or something. You're intellectualizing them, trying to control them, I think. And here's someone who does take all of their feelings in as just information, and they can handle it. It doesn't throw them for a loop. They're going to feel anger. They're going to feel love. They're going to feel lust. They're going to feel rage. They're going to feel all of those things, but they're going to be able to handle those feelings and not have them either stuff them down out of fear of what that feeling might mean for them, or express them in a way that harms other people. So he's able to drink of his own emotions and really enjoy them and experience them and take the information from them and incorporate it into his life, into his being, and use that information. I think you're trying to figure out how to do that, because here we have this highly intellectual card, over-intellectualizing, self-harming thoughts, or, it can be a form of self-harm, actually. Our thoughts are. We think of self-harming as just on the skin or something like that, but our thoughts can be self-harming too. I never really considered that, but it's true. We can engage in self-harming thoughts. this person is a leader to you. They are someone that you can learn from about feelings, about how to manage feelings, how to let feelings flow, how to handle your own emotional liquor. And then here's your to-do list. Your to-do list is to step into a leadership role as well. This is what's fascinating, is this King of Swords. Oh, master your mind. This is your mind out of control, self-harming. Right underneath it, we have the King of Swords, the master, mastery. If this is a master of emotion that you can be learning from, this is a master of your mind. This is very clear thinking, very fair thinking, absolute control. The King of Swords thinks about what's good for everybody, not just himself, because these kings have a whole kingdom they're responsible for, right? They have this leadership here. So this King of Swords has great ideas. They're fair ideas. They're balanced ideas. He's not gonna, yeah, he's got some truth here, that's for sure. But he's also can see the extenuating circumstances. But this is an intellectual leadership, stepping into some sort of leadership with intellectual ideas, truth, clarity, clear communication, crystal clear communication. But he's mastering these swords. He's mastering his mind, putting his mind in its spot, in its place in this situation where the mind is supposed to be. It's supposed to be processing sensory input, and our emotions are sensory input. So I feel like this is a mind kind of out of control, used to harm yourself and to hurt yourself. This is a master of that. He has this well in hand, very much in control of his own thoughts. And part of that, I think, is connected to your emotions. So this is you stepping into a leadership role of mastery also, right? And so then there's like 4 cards of leadership here. And then we have the Sisterhood of the Rose. I love how we're playing a little bit with gender here, and it's 4 men, and then we have, but it's a sisterhood. Sisterhood of the Rose, priestess, mystic, teacher. And then I see you being in charge, but first you have to take control of your own mind before you can, well, not usually, because it's a messy process. You can't just be perfect before you can teach anything. Then no one would be teaching anything, right? Or only the most arrogant, narcissistic people that believe that they're perfect would be teaching anything. So you can't wait until perfection hits for you to step into a leadership role. And then we have an outcome, 10 of Pentacles. This is the most amount of satisfaction a situation can provide. So it may be a little, maybe a lot, but it's the end of some sort of cycle, end of some sort of possible work cycle, having to do with money, with work, or, you know, just like you've gained everything you can gain from the situation. And 10 of Pentacles is the end of a cycle, the fulfillment of work or financial or time, something very fulfilling here. But it does come to an end, and you take your money and go, like, or you take what you've learned from the situation and you move on. So I get like a limited time, like sometimes these are like, you know, just general in your life, but I feel like this is like a specific situation with a limited time. Like it's like specific, it's not just in general, but there's some sort of specific situation that you're dealing with, that you're having a lot of anxiety with, and you need to get sort of control of your mind, and then immediately use that in a leadership role to teach somebody else, or to share with somebody else what you know and the truths you see. So here we have the Wild Kuan Oracle deck we're going to finish this reading with. So I see unsettled energy here, shadows. Love your body and live your dreams. I want you to experience all that life has to offer. I want you to see your dreams coming alive in the world. When you love the sacred soul animal of your body as I love you, then you will manifest all that is divinely meant for you and thrive. So I do see some dreams here though, right? You do have some dreams. So taking care of yourself, taking care of your body in the midst of everything. Yeah, I really love, you know, that we really are animals. I think that really connects with these feelings, right? And using your mind, our really highly developed minds, to understand and enhance sort of our animal intuitions and feelings. I believe animals do have feelings. I think it's ridiculous that people ever thought they didn't, but whatever. You know, because we evolved from animals, so where do those feelings come in here? Like, these just hop onto the little evolution train once we're Homo sapiens? Like, that doesn't make sense. They've evolved. Maybe animals don't experience in the same way we do, but they still experience them, or prototypes of them, or early versions of the emotions that we have. Anyway, I love using your mind to understand your animal body, your beautiful animal body. All right, so Gemini, I hope that reading was helpful for you, and thank you so much for your likes, subscribes, and comments. I really do appreciate them. Hope you have a great week.